Leo's heart raced as the silver doors of the Zyphora Academy opened. He had seen pictures of this place on the holoscreen at home, but nothing compared to standing in the huge floating dome in front of him. The air shimmered with soft lights, and every surface seemed to float just a few inches above the ground. Creatures of all shapes and colors walked, hovered, or glided around him. Some had 3 arms, others had eyes that glowed in multiple colors, and a few even shimmered like the surface of a bubble. Leo had never felt so small and out of place in his life, yet a strange sense of excitement stirred within him. Today, he would become the first human boy ever to join an alien class. "Leo!" a smooth voice called, and a tall alien with silver-blue skin and 6 delicate arms stepped forward. "I am Professor Vryn. Welcome to Zyphora Academy." Leo nodded, his hands trembling slightly. "Thank you, sir. I am really excited to be here," he said. The professor's multicolored eyes twinkled as he guided Leo through the floating corridors. The classroom itself was astonishing. The desks didn't touch the ground, but hovered gently in a circle. Holographic displays floated above each desk, showing glowing symbols, moving constellations, and strange equations that shifted as though alive. Around the room, the other students stared at him. He could feel their eyes, wide and curious, following his every move. "Class, we have a new student," Professor Vryn said. "His name is Leo. He comes from Earth." The room fell silent. Some of the girls whispered to each other in soft, musical tones. One of them, a tall girl with skin like polished amber and long glowing hair, leaned forward, her voice trembling with curiosity. "Earth, is that the place with blue water and green land?" "Yes," Leo answered quickly. "That's right, I mean..." "Yes." He realized how odd it must sound to them, describing a planet they had only seen in simulations. Another girl, small and round, with eyes that sparkled like tiny stars, tilted her head and whispered something in a language that sounded like gentle chimes. A friend giggled, and Leo felt his face heat up. He hadn't expected to be the center of attention this much. Professor Vryn smiled. "I trust everyone will make Leo feel welcome. Remember, curiosity is always valued here."
He gestured to the desks.
"Leo, please take any available spot."
Leo chose a desk near the center. It floated up to meet him, adjusting to his height.
He looked around and tried to remember all the faces. Lyra, the tall girl with amber skin, kept glancing at him. She was clearly intrigued. Mina, the starry-eyed one, kept giggling quietly, as if Leo's very presence was entertaining. A few others didn't move their eyes from him at all, but he could feel their careful, cautious attention. Professor Vryn began the lesson, introducing a simple holographic puzzle. Floating shapes spun in the air, and the students were supposed to arrange them into patterns that balanced energy flows. The alien girls reached with multiple hands or moved them with thought, their motions elegant and precise. Leo hesitated at first, unsure how to manipulate the floating shapes. They hovered above his hands, wobbling. "Just try," Professor Vryn encouraged. "There is no one way to solve it." Leo took a deep breath and remembered how he used to solve puzzles back home. He ignored the complicated alien gestures and focused on patterns. Slowly, the shapes began to align in his hands. One by one, the holograms lit up in green, signaling a correct arrangement. The class gasped. "How did he do that?" whispered Mina, her mouth forming a perfect circle. Lyra leaned closer, touching the shape Leo had just arranged, as if trying to understand the strange method he had used. "He doesn't even move like us," Lyra said softly. But he got it right. Leo felt a small swell of pride. For the first time, he realized that maybe being human didn't mean being weaker or less capable here. It just meant being different. And that difference could be useful. Then, something unexpected happened. A crystal orb in the corner of the classroom started to glow and vibrate. It was an ancient Zyphoran artifact, and it reacted to energy changes in the room. Everyone froze, unsure what to do. The orb floated toward the center of the room, bouncing lightly in the air. Without thinking, Leo stepped forward instinctively. He reached out and stabilized the orb with a careful hand. His fingers barely touched it, but the pulsating energy calmed. The class stared at him in awe. Lyra's jaw dropped slightly.
"Did he just calm it?"
she whispered. Professor Vryn nodded approvingly.
"Indeed. Leo seems to have a sensitivity we rarely observe. Humans often perceive things differently.
That is, valuable." Leo felt a strange mix of pride and embarrassment. All this attention was overwhelming, but at the same time, he noticed something. The alien girls were looking at him with curiosity, not fear or judgment. They were intrigued by what he could do, and that made him feel accepted. During the next break, the students floated around the room, chatting, moving in synchronized dances with light trails. Leo tried to mimic their movements but ended up bouncing awkwardly, barely floating. Mina laughed, and instead of feeling embarrassed, Leo laughed too. It was a light, genuine laugh, and some of the girls joined in. Lyra approached him, offering a hand.
"Here, try like this,"
she said, showing him a subtle way to use his energy to hover. Leo grinned and followed her instructions. Slowly, he floated a few inches above the floor, feeling the strange but exhilarating freedom of weightlessness.
"Not bad," Lyra said, her tone a mix of amusement and approval. "You're clumsy, but—"
"You're getting there."
The rest of the day passed in a whirlwind of lessons, experiments, and floating exercises. Leo struggled, stumbled, and sometimes failed, but he also amazed his classmates with simple human ideas, solutions based on logic, curiosity, and creativity, rather than raw alien ability. Tessera, a shy girl with translucent skin, came up to him quietly during lunch. She handed him a small, glowing crystal. "This is for you," she said softly. "I thought you might like it." Leo held it gently. It was warm and pulsed faintly. "Thank you," he said, smiling. "It's beautiful." She nodded, blushing faintly, and floated away. Leo realized he was beginning to make friends, not just be accepted, but genuinely liked. By the end of the day, Professor Vryn gathered the students.
"Today we have learned more than puzzles and floating," he said. "We have seen how different perspectives can bring new strengths."
Leo has shown us that the human mind, though unfamiliar, holds value beyond what we expected. The class clapped and floated in celebration. Leo felt a surge of happiness he had never known. He had walked into this alien school feeling small and unsure. Now he felt a sense of belonging. He might not look or move like the others, but in his own way, he had proven that being human was something special. As the students prepared to leave, the glowing crystal orb from the earlier lesson pulsed once more. This time it seemed to hum in recognition of Leo, almost as if it acknowledged his presence as unique. The alien girls whispered excitedly to each other, and Leo couldn't help but smile. For the first time, he realized that perhaps being different wasn't a weakness. It was a gift. Floating out of the classroom, Leo looked around at his new friends. The sky outside the dome shimmered with the colors of distant nebulae. He took a deep breath and thought about all the adventures that awaited him here at Sephora Academy. One thing was certain. His life had changed forever, and the alien girls' reactions, curious, amazed, playful, were only the beginning of something extraordinary. Leo woke up early, sunlight filtering through the dome's glass walls, painting everything in soft blues and pinks. Today was his first full day in the alien world, and he wanted to make the most of it. The hallways of Sephora Academy were alive with movement. Students floated in streams of color, some carrying small orbs that glowed with information, others practicing energy exercises that left faint trails of light in the air. Leo walked cautiously, trying to match his steps with the floating patterns of the aliens around him. Every time he took a step, he had to adjust quickly to avoid bumping into hovering desks or gliding classmates. It was frustrating, but also exciting. This place was unlike anything on Earth, and every moment felt like learning a new language, one of movement, color, and energy.
Leo! Lyra called, waving a long, glowing arm. She was already floating slightly above the ground, spinning gently to demonstrate control.
Come on! Today's floating drills are really fun.
I'll help you!
Leo ran to catch up, feeling his feet barely lift off the ground. Lyra guided him with patience, showing him how to shift weight, focus energy, and maintain balance. Slowly, he began to float a few inches above the floor without losing control.
You're improving fast, Lyra said, a playful smile lighting up her face. I didn't think a human could adapt so quickly. Thanks, Leo said, grinning. It's all about trying. I keep thinking what would work on Earth. Lyra laughed.
Earthways are strange here, but they're interesting. Her voice had a note of admiration. After floating practice, the class moved to the next lesson, holographic mathematics. The equations projected in the air swirled in 3 dimensions, glowing with shifting colors. The alien girls manipulated them effortlessly, stretching and twisting the forms with their hands, creating patterns Leo had never imagined. At first, he felt overwhelmed. His hands couldn't move, the holograms like theirs. They floated differently, and he didn't fully understand the logic behind their movements. He took a deep breath and remembered what Professor Vryn had said. There was no single way to solve a problem. Leo decided to approach it like a puzzle back home. Instead of trying to match their motions, he focused on patterns. Slowly, he rotated one hologram with his hands and connected it to another. To his surprise, the system accepted it and the shape stabilized. The alien girls stared. Tesra, the shy one, tilted her head and whispered, "He does it differently." But he is correct. Lyra floated over and smiled. "I see what you're doing."
That's clever, Leo. Very clever.
Leo felt a warm rush of pride. Every small victory made him feel more confident. For the first time, he wasn't just surviving in this alien environment. He was contributing in his own way. During the mid-morning break, Leo sat on a floating platform, watching the other students play a game with energy spheres. They zipped through the air, passing the spheres in intricate patterns that left glowing trails. Leo tried to participate, but the spheres slipped through his fingers. Mina floated close, laughing softly. "Here, let me show you," she said. She guided his hands, showing him the timing and motion needed to control the sphere. Leo tried again, and this time, the sphere stayed in his grasp, hovering perfectly. The alien girls gasped in surprise.
You got it!
Lyra exclaimed. Humans really do learn fast when they try. Leo smiled, feeling a sense of belonging he hadn't expected so soon. Even though he was different, they seemed genuinely interested in his abilities and ideas. After break, Professor Vryn announced a group assignment. Today, he said, you will work in teams to design a simple energy bridge across the floating platforms. It must be stable and safe. Remember, teamwork is key. The alien girls immediately began coordinating, using gestures, thought patterns, and energy flows that Leo could barely follow. He watched for a moment, feeling unsure how to contribute. Then he remembered something from Earth. Sometimes the simplest solutions were the most effective. He suggested an idea aloud. What if we try aligning the platforms in a straight pattern first, then adjust the angles afterward? The alien girls paused, surprised.
Lyra's eyes widened. You mean?
Start simple and then adapt? She asked. She asked. Yes, Leo said. Sometimes, starting too complicated makes things harder. The girls exchanged glances, then nodded. They tried his method, and to their amazement, the bridge began to stabilize. The floating spheres of energy held firm, and the structure became strong enough to walk across safely. The class applauded, and Professor Vryn smiled. Leo's perspective has helped this group succeed. Diversity of thought is always valuable. He wasn't just a visitor here. he was making a difference. The alien girls began asking him more questions, not out of mockery, but curiosity. They wanted to understand how humans thought and solved problems. Lyra even tried to mimic some of his hand gestures during exercises, giggling when she realized they didn't come naturally to her. At lunch, Leo discovered alien food. The textures were unusual: soft, floating gels, glowing fruits, and crystalline liquids. But he was eager to try everything. Tessera floated over, offering him a small, translucent cube that shimmered with light. "This tastes like happiness," she said shyly. Leo took a bite and laughed. "Wow, that's really good." The alien girls giggled at his exaggerated reaction. Soon, they were all sharing food, comparing tastes, and laughing together. For the first time, Leo felt like he truly belonged. After lunch, the students gathered for a history lesson. The holographic displays showed the growth of civilizations across the galaxy. Leo noticed how the alien girls' perceptions were different. They understood things in shapes, colors, and energy flows, rather than words. He tried to follow along and realized that using his imagination helped him keep up. During the lesson, a small holographic simulation went out of control. The floating models began spinning wildly, and the other students panicked. Without thinking, Leo moved closer and steadied the projection with his hands, his mind calculating angles and momentum instinctively. The models calmed, and the girls stared at him in amazement. "You humans are incredible," Lyra whispered. "You think differently, but it works beautifully." By the end of the day, Leo was tired but happy. He had floated, learned, helped, and even eaten alien food. More importantly, he had made friends. Lyra teased him about being clumsy but clever. Mina admired his persistence, and Tessera quietly shared ideas with him. He realized that being human didn't make him weak here. It made him unique and valuable. That evening, as the students prepared to leave, Professor Vryn gathered them. "Today we learned more than lessons from books," he said. "We have learned how a new perspective can illuminate new paths. Leo, your presence reminds us that being different is a strength." Leo smiled, feeling proud. As he floated out of the classroom, he looked around at his new friends, laughing and sharing stories. The alien girl's reactions, curious, amazed, playful, made him feel welcome and special. For the first time, he knew that being human in an alien world could be more than just surviving. It could be extraordinary. As the sun set over the floating domes of Xiphora Academy, casting streaks of gold and pink across the sky, Leo thought about the days ahead. Floating forests, mysterious artifacts, and strange puzzles awaited. But he also thought about friendship, laughter, and the strange but wonderful ways humans could fit into this alien world. And for the first time, he felt ready for any challenge, because he was not alone. He had allies, curiosity, and a mind that could think differently, and that might just be the most powerful thing of all. The morning sun glimmered across the floating domes of Xiphora Academy as Leo prepared for the day's adventure. Today was different. Professor Vryn had announced a field trip to the floating crystal forests, a place both beautiful and mysterious. The students buzzed with excitement, their movements leaving colorful trails in the air. Leo felt a mix of nervousness and anticipation. He had never seen anything like the forests, and he knew it would be a challenge to navigate them with the alien girls. As the students gathered in the launch chamber, Professor Vryn addressed them. "The crystal forests are not just beautiful. They are living puzzles. Energy flows through the crystals, and only careful observation and teamwork will allow you to pass safely." He loved puzzles, but he knew that the alien way of perceiving things would make this adventure unlike any challenge on Earth. The transport shimmered into existence, and in a blink, they were above the forests. Leo gasped. Below them stretched a vast expanse of floating platforms, each one covered in glowing crystals. Some platforms spun slowly, others shifted gently, and between them, floated streams of luminous energy. The air was filled with a soft hum, and the colors changed with every movement. Leo could hardly believe his eyes. The class split into groups to explore the forest. Leo's group included Lyra, Mina, and Tessera. They were all excited, but also a little nervous. Leo floated carefully, trying to match the alien's effortless gliding, though he still wobbled slightly. Lyra floated ahead, her long hair trailing light as she pointed to a set of shifting platforms. "We need to cross here first," she said.
But watch the crystals. They respond to energy.
One wrong move, and we might get stuck. Leo studied the platforms. The crystals pulsed with different colors. He noticed patterns that the others hadn't mentioned. "I think we can step in this order," he said, pointing to a sequence of platforms. "If we follow the pulses carefully, we can move safely." Mina looked skeptical.
Are you sure? You're not like us.
Your energy is different. I'm not sure either, Leo admitted, but maybe thinking differently will help. They started moving, following Leo's sequence.
To everyone's surprise, it worked. The platforms aligned as they passed, creating a stable path. Tessera floated closer, her eyes wide. "Leo, you see things differently, but it helps."
You guide us!
Leo felt a warmth in his chest. He realized that his human way of noticing patterns and thinking step by step gave him an advantage. In this alien world, humans weren't weaker. They were different, and sometimes different was better. As they continued, they reached a clearing where a cluster of massive crystals formed a wall. Embedded in it were small, glowing nodes, each pulsing in rhythm. The task was clear. They had to align the nodes to open a passage. But the pattern was complicated, and the aliens' perceptions made it tricky to predict which movements would work. The girls began trying their usual techniques, stretching energy through their arms, twisting and tapping the nodes in synchrony. The nodes responded partially, but the passage remained closed. Leo thought for a moment, then took a deep breath. He remembered an approach from a puzzle game back home. He noticed the timing of the pulses, the slight delays, and realized it could be solved by trial and error in a specific order. "Wait," he said. "I think we should try it one at a time. Let's watch the pulse, then press the nodes in sequence." The alien girls paused, uncertain. Lyra raised an eyebrow. "You mean..." Slowly, step by step. "Not like us at all?"
Yes, Leo said, but I think it will work. They followed his instructions.
One by one, they pressed the nodes as Leo guided them. Slowly, the pattern emerged. The crystals began to shift, forming a glowing archway. The passage opened.
The group gasped in amazement. "Leo!"
"That's incredible,"
Lyra said.
"You solved it differently, but it worked perfectly."
Leo smiled. He felt proud, but also grateful. The girls didn't mock him or dismiss his ideas. They listened, trusted him, and worked together. It was more than just a puzzle solved. It was a moment of teamwork and understanding. They continued through the forest, facing more challenges that tested their coordination, observation, and problem-solving skills. At one point, a floating platform began to spin faster than expected. Lyra froze, unsure which way to move. Leo reacted instinctively, using his balance and timing to stabilize it for everyone. The girls followed his lead, their movements smooth and careful. Once they reached solid ground, they all laughed, the tension melting away. Mina floated close to Leo, shaking her head in admiration.
You're not like us, but you're amazing. You don't just solve puzzles, you make it easier for us.
Leo grinned. Sometimes small steps and watching carefully help more than complicated tricks. The final challenge of the forest was the largest yet. A giant crystal formation stood in the center of a wide clearing. It pulsed with all the colors of the rainbow, shifting energy in unpredictable ways. To pass, the group needed to channel energy through the crystals in harmony. The alien girls began immediately, using their practiced motions. Leo tried as well, but his movements were clumsy at first. He stopped and thought. Then he remembered the principle of observation. Instead of trying to mimic the girls, he focused on the pattern of the pulses, the timing, and the flow of energy. Slowly, he adjusted his movements in his own way. To everyone's surprise, the energy responded positively, complementing the girls' actions. Together, they stabilized the crystal formation, creating a bridge of light that led across the clearing. Tessera floated close to him, eyes wide.
Leo, your way. It fits perfectly with ours.
You're extraordinary. Leo felt a warm glow of pride. He realized that humans could contribute in ways no one expected, not by being stronger or faster, but by thinking differently, observing carefully, and staying calm under pressure. The group reached the end of the forest, breathless but exhilarated. The alien girls were all smiles, their eyes sparkling with admiration. Lyra bumped shoulders with Leo playfully. "Huh, I never thought a human could teach me anything. But today—"
You did! Mina nodded, laughing. And you're fun to work with.
You make challenges exciting, not scary. Even Tessera, usually quiet, smiled warmly. We worked so well together. Thank you, Leo. As the sun began to set over the floating forest, painting the sky in soft purples and oranges, Professor Vryn appeared in the clearing. "Well done, everyone," he said.
You have navigated the crystal forest successfully.
"Leo, your perspective has proven invaluable. This is exactly why we welcome diversity of thought here at Sci-Fi Academy." Leo beamed. For the first time, he felt that he truly belonged. Not only had he adapted to this alien world, but he had also contributed in ways that no one else could. The girls' reactions, surprise, admiration, and friendship filled him with a sense of pride and warmth he had never known on Earth. As they floated back to the academy, laughter and chatter filled the air. Leo looked around at his new friends, thinking about how strange and wonderful it was that beings so different from him would accept, trust, and even admire him. He realized that being human was not a disadvantage. It was a unique gift. The forest adventure had taught him many things: patience, observation, and the power of different perspectives. But more importantly, it had shown him that humans could make a difference in the galaxy, not through force, but through thought, creativity, and kindness. That night, as Leo prepared for bed in his small room at the academy, he gazed out at the floating city. The stars above shimmered like scattered crystals, and the lights of distant domes twinkled in the distance. He felt excited about the days to come. There would be more lessons, more floating, more challenges, and more opportunities to show that humans were not just another species. They were clever, adaptable, and capable of amazing things. He smiled to himself. Tomorrow would bring new adventures, but tonight, he felt content. He had crossed the crystal forest with the alien girls, solved puzzles no one else could, and earned their trust and admiration. He was no longer just a visitor from Earth. He was part of this world, part of a team, and, most importantly, part of friendships that he would always treasure. As sleep finally claimed him, Leo dreamed of floating crystals, glowing lights, and laughter shared with friends. He knew that his journey at Sci-Fi Academy had only just begun, and that the future was full of incredible possibilities for learning, for friendship, and for showing the galaxy what humans could do. The morning air in Sci-Fi Academy felt lighter than usual. Leo floated carefully through the hallways, smiling at the soft glow of the domes around him. The field trip to the crystal forests had changed everything. He felt more confident, more connected to the alien girls, and even more curious about what each new day would bring. Today, however, promised something special. A class-wide cultural exchange day where students would share stories, ideas, and games from their home planets. Leo's heart beat faster. He had never shared Earth customs with anyone outside his family before. The classroom was buzzing with excitement. Holographic maps of distant worlds hovered in the air, and colorful patterns floated above each desk, responding to each student's energy. The alien girls clustered near Leo, chatting excitedly. Lyra grinned at him. "You're really going to show us Earth games today?" she asked. Leo nodded.
Yes, but they might be simple compared to what you do here.
Mina floated close and laughed. "Simple or not, we're excited. Humans are full of surprises." Tessra smiled quietly, her eyes glowing softly, and whispered, "We trust you, Leo." When it was his turn, Leo stood at the center of the classroom. He held up a small, round ball. Simple by Earth standards.
This is a ball, he said. On Earth, we play games where we throw it, catch it, and sometimes pass it in teams.
It's all about timing, teamwork, and fun. The alien girls tilted their heads, clearly curious. "Just a ball?" Lyra asked.
It seems very simple. Leo smiled. It is, but humans use it to learn coordination, teamwork, and sometimes problem-solving.
Let me show you.
He demonstrated a basic toss-and-catch sequence, then invited the girls to try. At first, it was chaotic.
The aliens' floating abilities made the ball move unpredictably. Some missed, some overcaught it, and the energy trails from their movements collided in funny patterns. Leo laughed, a warm, happy sound that made the girls giggle too. Slowly, with his guidance, they learned to coordinate. The ball moved smoothly from one student to another, hovering in a playful dance of colors.
"Leo, this is fun!" Mina exclaimed, spinning gently in the air. "I never thought a human game could be so interesting."
Lyra bumped her shoulder playfully against Leo. "You're clever, Leo. Even simple things become amazing with you around."
Tessra's smile was quiet, but sincere.
"We learn from you in ways we didn't expect."
Leo felt proud, not because he was showing off, but because he realized something important. Humans could connect with others through creativity, empathy, and shared experiences. Even in a world full of alien abilities, there was room for his unique perspective. After the games, Professor Vrine gathered the students for reflection. "Today," he said, "we have seen the power of sharing ideas and perspectives. Leo has reminded us that simplicity can teach lessons as powerful as complexity, and that friendship is a bridge stronger than energy or technology."
The girls beamed at him. Lyra teased, "You're full of surprises, Leo."
"Every day, we expect one thing, and you do something else entirely." Leo grinned. "I guess humans are like that. We like to explore, try new things, and sometimes make mistakes, but that's how we learn." Later, the class moved to the floating art room. Holographic paint swirled above their hands, responding to thought and energy. The alien girls created complex patterns, shapes, and moving sculptures that glimmered in the air. Leo hesitated. He didn't know if he could do anything remotely impressive. But then he remembered the joy of experimenting, the thrill of trying something new. He dipped his hands in the paint and began creating simple shapes. At first, they wobbled and faded, but gradually they formed patterns inspired by Earth. Trees, mountains, and oceans. Simple, yet familiar. Leo, your shapes.
They're different but beautiful.
Tessra said softly. Lyra laughed.
"You make Earth look magical," Mina nodded, spinning in delight. "It's amazing how humans see things. Leo realized something important. Even his simplest attempts could inspire others.
Being human wasn't about power or speed. It was about perspective, imagination, and the courage to try. The alien girls weren't just curious anymore. They were inspired. As the day drew to a close, the students floated toward the academy's balcony. The sky above Zephora shimmered with nebulae, stars, and the soft glow of distant cities. Leo leaned against the railing, looking at the vast, beautiful world around him. He felt a sense of peace and accomplishment. The elves gathered around him, laughing and chatting. "You've changed a lot since your first day," Lyra said.
"You're not just learning, you're teaching too." "Yes," Tessera added quietly. "You remind us that different is not strange."
"Different is special." Mina nudged Leo playfully.
"And humans are full of surprises! Don't ever stop being curious!"
Leo smiled, feeling warmth spread through him. He realized that he had not only adapted to this world, but he had also earned respect and friendship. The alien girl's reactions, once full of curiosity and doubt, were now filled with admiration, trust, and genuine affection. Professor Vryn approached and placed a gentle hand on Leo's shoulder. "You have done well, Leo. You have shown us that humans bring something unique to the galaxy. Creativity, empathy, and the ability to see solutions others cannot. This is the beginning of something extraordinary." Leo felt proud, but humble. He knew he had much to learn, but he also knew he had found a place where being human mattered. He had friends who valued him, a teacher who trusted him, and a world full of adventures waiting to be discovered. That evening, as the academy lights dimmed and the students floated toward their quarters, Leo sat with Lyra, Mina, and Tessera. They shared stories from their planets, asked questions about Earth, and laughed together. For the first time, Leo felt completely at home. He thought about the days ahead. More lessons, more floating, more challenges, and more chances to share his perspective. But most importantly, he thought about friendship. The alien girls had taught him that being different was not something to hide or fear. It was something to celebrate. As night fell over Zephora, Leo gazed at the sky, the stars twinkling like tiny lanterns. He felt a sense of possibility stretching out before him. He was no longer just a human in an alien world. He was part of a community, part of friendships, and part of adventures that would last a lifetime. A soft voice beside him said, "Leo, you are special to us." Tessera's eyes glowed faintly in the dark. Lyra and Mina nodded in agreement. Floating close with warm smiles, Leo smiled, feeling a deep sense of belonging.
"And you're special to me," he said. "I'm glad I came here."
They floated in comfortable silence, the stars above them reflecting in their eyes. Leo knew that this was just the beginning. Zephora Academy was more than a school. It was a place where humans and aliens could learn from each other, share ideas, and discover the extraordinary in the ordinary. Leo had crossed crystal forests, solved puzzles, shared games, and created art. He had adapted, contributed, and earned friendship, and in return, he had learned that the galaxy was full of wonders waiting to be explored, and that humans, in their simple but clever ways, could be part of something truly remarkable. As the night deepened and the city lights twinkled below, Leo felt content. He had come to an alien world, unsure of himself, but he would go to sleep knowing that he was valued, trusted, and appreciated. The alien girl's reactions, once uncertain and curious, had transformed into admiration and friendship. Leo had proven that humans, even in a galaxy full of extraordinary beings, had something special to offer. He closed his eyes, thinking of Earth, of friends he would miss, and of the adventures yet to come. The floating domes of Zephora shimmered in the distance, promising more challenges, laughter, and discovery. Leo drifted to sleep with a smile, dreaming of floating crystals, glowing colors, and the friends who had become like family. In the morning, he would wake ready for another day of learning, laughing, and exploring, and he knew one thing for certain. Being human was not a weakness. It was a gift that the alien girls had learned to value, and one that Leo would continue to share with the galaxy. The stars outside his window twinkled softly, almost as if the universe itself was smiling. Leo felt a sense of pride and hope. He was part of something bigger than himself, something that bridged worlds, species, and ideas. And for the first time in his life, he truly felt at home. A human boy joined the alien girls' class. Their reactions were unbelievable.